want to start with a true story. I have a friend and client I'll call Shelley. She's 94 years old and a widow. A former special education teacher who spent her life pouring herself into other people's children. She has a home she loves, a beautiful backyard full of birds she tends to every day, a cat, and what I can only describe as her own little ecosystem just outside her backyard. The birds come early every day. At night, so do the skunks and the opossums. I called her Snow White once, and she didn't disagree. Shelley is staying in her home of 40 years. That's her decision, and it's the right one for now. But staying in her home looks different than it did 5 years ago, or even 1 year ago. There's a step inside the house that's become difficult. The gravel area outside where she feeds her birds, her favorite part of the day, is where she had a fall. Cooking has gotten harder. Now she's looking into a food delivery service. And she's also looking at ways to make her home easier and safer. To make sure the life she loves can continue. That life is worth protecting. And protecting it means being willing to look honestly at what the home needs. And what she needs to keep it going. Hello, I'm George Hetzel with Your Next Chapter. I'm 78 years old. I'm a San Diego real estate broker. And I work specifically with seniors and their families on housing and life transitions. I created Your Next Chapter because I wanted to have honest conversations about this chapter of life. Not hand people a checklist and call it help. Most conversations about aging in place focus on the practical, the grab bars, the lighting, the bathroom modifications. Those things matter, and we'll get to them. But there's something that comes before all of that. Something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. Staying in place sounds simple. You're already there. Nothing has to change. But the reality is that staying in place as you age means making a series of adjustments over time. Some small, some not so small. And each one of those adjustments asks something of you emotionally before it asks anything of you practically. I'll give you a couple of examples from my own life. I stopped getting on ladders recently, not because my doctor told me to, not because my wife asked me to, because I finally had to be honest with myself. And this one hurt a bit, as I've always been athletic my whole life. To be honest, there was some embarrassment in it. And I recently hired someone to complete a financial analysis for a project I have been working on. I would have handled the project easily 5 years ago. Simple as that sounds, it was a moment of reckoning. These are small things, and they are not small things. Shelley and I talked about this recently, and we laughed. Genuinely laughed about the gap between what we used to do and what we do now. The meals, the ladder, the spreadsheet. There was something freeing about being able to laugh at it together. Shelley is now looking at the ways to make her home easier and safer, and to make sure the life she loves inside it can continue. That backyard matters. The birds come every day. So do the skunks. So do the opossums. And a stray cat or two. That life is worth protecting. And protecting it means being willing to look honestly at what the home needs and what she needs to keep it going. Staying in place is a valid choice for many seniors. It's the right choice. But it's a choice that asks for honesty about what your home needs, about what you need, and about where you are emotionally in accepting what's changing. That honesty is the starting point. Everything else, the practical steps, the modifications, the support, follows from there. I'm not a medical professional or a contractor. As issues arise, I suggest you contact professionals who can help you. In part 2 of this series, we'll look at what staying in place actually requires, practically and otherwise, and where the real challenges tend to show up. Thank you, and have a good day. If you have questions, feel free to leave a comment. Send me a message or schedule a time to talk using the link below. I'd be glad to talk with you anytime.